Hello and good afternoon. Welcome everyone to Tech Tuesdays with IPDAY. We have a great presentation for you guys today on using Microsoft Sway to create engaging newsletters and presentations. My name is Alexander Ramirez and I'll be your webinar facilitator for this afternoon. And before we get started, I just want to cover a couple of quick housekeeping rules. There'll be some time at the end of the presentation for questions. So if throughout the presentation you have any questions, please type it into the Q&A option, which appears on the top hand screen. During the presentation, attending microphones will be muted and you will be in listen-only mode. Today's presentation will be recorded and will be archived and available on the IPDAY website within 48 hours. So without further ado, let's jump into Microsoft Sway. So Microsoft Sway is a fantastic piece of software that allows you to create engaging newsletters and presentations and share those with people inside of your institution and outside. We're going to be covering, how to create these beautiful sways, and I'm going to show you guys how to use templates to create those and how to navigate them. We're going to talk about some neat features that it has as far as implementation, and we're going to see plenty of different examples on all the different things that you can do with Sway. So Sway is essentially a presentation software from Microsoft. It's web-based. It's absolutely fantastic in its ease of use, and it has multiple different formats and templates that you can use. It allows you to share via cloud through a link, which is great for integrating into social media. I'll also be showing you guys, how we've kind of implemented this at my school. We use it for a newsletter, so it's a great way to get out, the news on all of the great things that we're doing at the school, new programs and community events. We're also going to talk about how to create a Sway, because there's a few different ways to do that. And after that, we'll talk about editing the different sections, because Sway does have various different ways in which you can configure it. So we'll talk about the different text and media options, as well as group options, which depend really on what you're going to be using your Sway for. Now, today we're going to take a look at a variety of different templates, but we're also going to hone in on the school newsletter. And the reason I'm going to focus on the school newsletter is because I think it's a great way to showcase all the wonderful things that we do at our schools. It's a great way to get the word out on new IET programs or new initiatives that are going on at your school. It's also a great way to collaborate with industry partners and with community partners. And so after we take a look at a couple of templates, we're also gonna take a look at how to play the Sway, because there's a couple different ways to do that. And of course, how to collaborate and share with this document. One of the benefits of using cloud-based software is the ability for multiple people to edit, to log in and use it at the same time. And that is one of the things that I really personally love about Sway the most, is the ability for me to collaborate with other people at the school to put together this newsletter and get the word out on all of the great things that we are doing. So without further ado, let's take a look. Let's go ahead and dive into a live demonstration. I did want to guide you all through how to use this, because it really is fantastic software. So the first thing I want to do is showcase a couple of the templates. So to access Microsoft Sway, you'll go to your Office 365 portal, and you'll click on the apps icon here at the top left-hand corner, and you'll look for the icon for Sway, which is it looks like a small picture frame with a mountain and a little moon and the letter S. So you'll click on Microsoft Sway. It'll take you to your Sway homepage, where you'll have templates. And of course, once you've created a few Sways, they'll all appear here on your homepage. So the first thing I want to talk about is templates. Here at the top, you'll notice where it says new, you have a couple different options for starting a Sway. And then next to the new and start from document options, you have the templates. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on the DIY template first, just to kind of show what a Sway looks like. So this is a Sway presentation that is, a template for a DIY. It talks a little bit about how to use Microsoft Sway. You'll notice that there are kind of different slides here, and you can scroll through them left and right. Later, I'll talk about the different configurations because you can also set this up to scroll up and down as well. Down in the bottom right-hand corner of the sway, there is a left and right-hand button, and those allow you to transition through the slides all the same way. So you'll notice that it looks kind of like a PowerPoint presentation, only it's a little more dynamic, it's web-based, things are scalable. This Microsoft Sways look great on mobile devices as well. So that's a great reason to use this to share information. And of course, web-based, so you can share it with students and stakeholders without any problems. So here you'll see a couple different pictures, the headers for each slide, as well as a narrative. And next to the navigation arrows, there's a button for navigating to the different sections of the sway. You go ahead and click on this, it'll show you all the different slides. Oops. It'll show you all the different slides here, so you can navigate straight to it. So, another really great feature that makes it look really polished. One of the benefits of using these templates is that they're kind of already set up for you. And I do want to show you guys a few more templates before we start editing, but these can essentially just be edited immediately. So you can start clicking on edit, and we'll do that shortly. And of course, once you click on edit, you'll be able to change pictures out and change the text and the different headers and slide titles. Let's take a look at the newsletter template. The newsletter template is, of course, the one that I'm going to recommend for those of you that are going to use this to write a school newsletter, to get the word out on all the great things that you're using and all the great programs at your schools. So the school newsletter template, has a header for a photo. It scrolls up to down a little bit differently than the other one. So you'll notice that this does not have those arrows because it's not a left to right slide sway. And then as you scroll down, you'll see in this issue where there's a few different stories, and you'll have some different photos and story headlines, as well as some captions. Now, the first time I started using Sway, I used this template to create the school newspaper, and it was awesome. It was very well received. People liked that they were able to view it on their mobile device. Personally, I thought it was great that it was able to be shared on social media, which is something that we pushed out at the school. And effectively, another great feature about this is that it lets you track the usage for each one. And we saw a lot of engagement. And that's really what you want from these presentations when you're getting the news out to the community, or if you're using this for marketing, is you want to see a lot of engagement. So in using this way, we saw that our school newsletter was getting read, 600 or 700 times, which was great outside of the school. So that was not even counting student accounts logging in to see it, which was fantastic because that was a lot of interaction points from industry and community partners and potential new students. So as you see, I'm scrolling through the template here. This is the newsletter. It has some great pictures, has wonderful formatting. If you see here, there's like a collage here, so you can click through the different photos, and I'll show you guys how to set this up. This is called a group, a photo group. And of course, a contact us section here at the bottom for your newsletter. Similar to the other Sway, this also has that navigation pane that lets you go straight to the title or the different stories. So as you add a bunch of different stories, they'll appear here, and this is great. This is great for navigating, especially if you have a large newsletter where you're going to have 6 or 7 different stories. This is a great way to give people a chance to hop around between those stories. So those are the 2 templates I wanted to showcase. Obviously, they have a lot of different templates. If you click here on more templates, you'll have a bunch of different types of sways that you can use. They even have resumes, which I think are fantastic for students that want a digital resume. I personally have a resume on Sway that I have connected to a QR code, and I think it's a great way to share that information with possible employers on the go. So wonderful tool to share with your students as well. So the next thing I want to talk about is how to edit these, right? We're looking at all these sways, we're looking at these templates, and there's basically a few different ways that you can create a sway. Now, the first way that you can create a sway is by clicking the new blank sway here option here on the top left-hand corner. And essentially that just creates a blank sway, very similar to when you create a blank PowerPoint. You have no template, no structure, and you'll be responsible for entering all the sections yourself. Not a bad place to start once you feel a little more comfortable. What my recommendation is for you to try using one of the templates and editing one first, because it'll help you to get familiarized with how Sway works, which is very easy and a lot of drag and drop. And we'll be editing a template soon now. The next option is to start from a document. So, starting from a document means importing a Word document or another presentation, and it will take that and it will try its best to create a sway based on that information. This feature does work fairly well. I don't use it very often because I find that the templates are a lot better. So it's just better usually to use the templates that are built in and edit those. It's also a little bit easier in my opinion. And of course, editing a template. That's going to be the best way. And for today, we're going to be editing the newspaper template, and then I'll be showcasing the Flightline, which is the newsletter for our school. So the first thing I want to do is go into the newspaper template. And here we're going to talk about sections and text and the different pictures. So the first thing we're going to do is click on Start Editing This Sway. In Microsoft Sway will take a minute to prepare the template so you can edit it. And here you have the editing menu. No surprise, it looks a little bit different than the front end of the software, but not too complex. Actually, one of the reasons I really like Sway is that it is really easy to use. So up here, you'll see the newsletter title. So we'll change it to sample title just so we can see what that looks like. And, we can introduce your organization's periodic newsletter. So, here you can write an introduction to your newsletter. You can put the date. Today is June 13th. Put that in there. And the organization name. So we'll do day. And then you'll notice that they're broken down into sections. So each one of those slides that we viewed when we were transitioning through the Sway is one of these blocks here. So the first block is, the in this issue, and you can open and close that as needed. You can change the photo by clicking on the photo here and then deleting the photo and replacing that with a new one. So you can go here and you can add an image. You'll be able to add an image which you can upload from your computer, or you can find some online, or if you have a OneDrive account that's connected to your Microsoft account, you can also switch that out there as well. You're also able to switch them out if you want to do that, and you can also select the focus points. So I want to take a minute to talk about focus points because this is a great way to add some artistic flair to your picture. So as you notice here on the right-hand side, when I click this picture, you'll see that there's a couple of white circles. Those are your focus points. And what that means is that because Sway is a dynamic software and it does a lot of the animations automatically, it will move the picture around and do the animations depending on where you put those focus points. So you'll notice as I move them around that the picture is changing a little bit down here. And of course, if you don't want Microsoft Sway to edit, to move around and that image to kind of float around, and you just want to showcase the entire image, you'll just check off this box here that says that the entire image is important. So, here for first story, we'll change the headline to story 1, just so we can see what that looks like. Story number 1. And of course, here we have some text for the story. Now, text cards are fairly straightforward. You will click on the add new section option, and you'll be able to add text or a heading. You'll be able to add a heading 1, heading 2, or text depending on the style that you want. You can also emphasize a text, and what emphasizing the text means is that it'll make it bold. So you can highlight this. Let's say we want to highlight this. We want to emphasize this. It's going to be bold. And of course, we can select to make this text larger on the newsletter or smaller depending on how we want to focus this, right? So here on the top right-hand corner, you'll notice that there's two emphasis options. There's a small emphasis option and a large. Now I'm going to set the large so that we can see the difference when we go back to our sway. And we're going to put a little tag here so we know that that's the card that we were editing. And just like that, you'll break up your story to add, quotes, or if you want a bold excerpt of the text for the newsletter story. If you're doing an instructional presentation for a class, you can, accent and emphasize important information here on these blocks. So this is a great way to kind of have text to stand out or have it underlined so that it doesn't kind of fall in with the rest of the text. So here we have our different sections. I wanted us to kind of fast forward down here to the second story, because this story has something called a stack. Now, a stack, it was that beautiful kind of picture collage thing that we were looking at earlier. And the picture collage is great for, uploading multimedia. So really important thing to note is that Sway can handle both video and images. You can also connect songs or audio to it as well, which can really make your presentation more dynamic. You'll notice here there's a media option, so you just click on that, and the media option will allow you to import, the different types of media that are available to use with Sway. Now, to get those cool visuals where you have like a carousel of images or a photo collage, what you'll use is the group option here. So you can click on the group option. And as you can see here is stack. Stack is that kind of messy stack of pictures that we were looking at. You can also do a slideshow, and in the slideshow you can add multiple image, which you'll be able to kind of scan through. There's also an option for comparison photos, where you can have two different images side by side, and you'll add those in here. And there's also options for grid, which is a great way to kind of create a collage of all the different images. I personally love the grid option for, events. If you want to have kind of a flash of all the pictures or all the cool things that were happening at that time. And of course, at the bottom, we have a contact card, which doesn't have a background. You'll notice that's been deleted, but we can really easily add that. This is a presentation with a lot of trees. We'll just pick a random tree picture here. We'll add that. And that will give us a little bit of a flair there to see. So an important thing to note about Microsoft Sway, it does save automatically. So, because it saves automatically, you never need to worry about saving it. It is web-based, so you do need to be connected to the internet for that to work. And then once you're ready to take a look at your changes or take a look at what your new Sway looks like, you'll click on the play button, which is located at the top in the upper right-hand corner of the menu. And we'll notice here that we have our different, all of our different things. So we had changed the title to sample title. We see that there. We had added a little update caption here, as well as today's date. And we had made that bold. We had made this text larger here so that we could see it kind of standing out from the rest of the text. And this is a lot of experimentation in the beginning to kind of get to the level where you know how you want to set up your newsletter and the different ways that you can do that. Some people use a lot of emphasis. Some people may are very heavy on narrative and will have a lot of text boxes like this with smaller text. I want to scroll down to our new background. We had put this background. Now, this is one of the things I wanted to show. So because we didn't select any focal points, it just selected the middle of the image for this section. So if we wanted to change that, we would go back into the editing and we would go back down to the image. We'd go to details, we'd click on the image, and then once we click on the image, we'd click on focus points. And here, let's say that I really want this to kind of pan out and show a couple different things. So I'm going to choose to show the whole image like this. Okay, so I'll go ahead and close that. And then I always like to verify just to make sure that it's saved. So I'll go back here, perfect. And then I'll go click play again. and scroll down to my tree, and voila, you'll notice that now it shows the entire tree because I selected those as the focal points. So this is essentially, that is editing. The best way to edit the templates is to just kind of go in. I do want to take a minute to show you guys what a blank one looks like. So you can see it is essentially just a clean slate for you to begin with. It'll have just the title of your sway, and you'll be able to add the different boxes that we talked about, the text options, the media, or the group options here. So now that we've taken a look at the different templates and how to set those up, how to edit them, I'm going to show you a real life kind of example. I'm going to show you guys the Flightline edition for my school. It's something that we put out every couple of months. So we have one, a couple for each season. And during, this is a great way that we kind of showcase all the things that we're doing at the school, all the programs, all the events, and also how we get news out to the community. So really an important piece of our social media marketing strategy as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click play. George T. Baker Aviation Technical College's Flightline has been, a newspaper publication that has been running since the 70s at the school. And this was the first time we made it digital. As you notice, it mirrors very closely that template for the newsletter. That was the original, template that we used to create this. We have our different stories here for the month. We have some wonderful pictures. Obviously, the better the media that you use, the more engagement you're going to see from your stakeholders and your students. And you'll notice it reads a lot like a website newsletter. So, I've used a lot of focus here for the images to kind of showcase, some of the work that we've done at career and college fairs. Here's an example of the emphasis text. I wanted to highlight that over 4,600 students had attended this event. So I took that text out of the box and I added it to the emphasis, kind of really highlighting that bit. And then, of course, another story, our second story, the annual aviation fair, some more of that story there, and another stack of photos. I personally love this photo stack group. I think it's a great way to share a lot of pictures and just, let your staff and let your students and community see all the great things that are going on with your institution. And of course, some more stories down here. So, we do create one of these every couple of months to showcase, all the things that we're doing at the school. Some people like to do them weekly. And some people like to use this for, classroom instruction, which is, also fantastic. So the next thing I want to talk about is sharing a sway. Once you've created your sway and you've edited it and it's ready to go, you're going to want to share it with students and stakeholders. And the good thing about Microsoft Cloud products is that they're really easy to share with others. There's actually just a share button in the upper right-hand corner of that sway, which opens up the share menu. So let's just take a look and kind of go through the options here. For those of you that are unfamiliar with them, you can first share it with specific employees or people or groups that are in your organization. So this is a great way to share a presentation or a newsletter with individuals that are in your organization. Let's say something that you do not want to share with external stakeholders. You can do that by identifying exactly who those people are, entering their email addresses here, and sending them an invite the same way you would do anything from Microsoft Forms or OneDrive. The other way is with a link that will only allow those in your organization to enter. So this is good for if you want to share this with all the staff and all the teachers at an institution, but you don't want to have to enter them each individually. This is a great way to kind of just take the link and share it, knowing that external stakeholders will not have access to the link. The next option is anyone with a link. This is the option that I use. As you'll see here, I have my link. I make sure always to select the view option only because I do not want students and stakeholders editing my newsletter for me. And I'll go ahead and copy that link and embed it into a QR code, which I then share on social media. and that's a great way to kind of get the word out there. Use these links, put them on your website, put them on social media so that you can get that engagement from your stakeholders. There's also a way to get a visual link, and visual links are great because they add the cover of the sway here. So it's a really beautiful way to share it in an email, makes it look really professional. You just click the copy button here and it copies this entire tile along with the link that you can share in an email. So, once again, just be sure always to check the status that you're inviting people to do, whether they're going to be view or edit. I know in the beginning when I first started using Sway, I had unfortunately made the mistake of sending this out as an edit, and I had a few staff members that were kind of fidgeting with my stories, kind of editing them, making them better, of course. And I realized that it had been that I had set it to edit instead of view. So really important to do that. You can also require that users enter a password to view or edit this way. So this is another layer of protection that you can add if you're going to share it with teachers or administrators at your institution. So that is basically it. That is how to use and edit a sway. I hope that you guys found this presentation enjoyable and interesting. I personally think Sway is incredible. It has made my life much easier as far as producing the newsletter, and it's also helping me and my administration at the institution reach out to the community and get word out there, get that engagement online, get that engagement on social media. That's so important today, right? So the last thing before you guys leave us today, I'd love to get some feedback. If they really appreciate your feedback, you'll see a quick poll on the screen. There's just a few questions. It helps us to kind of build a better product for you, to build better Tech Tuesdays and better Webinar Wednesdays. Also, while you're doing that, please don't forget to join us for our next webinar tomorrow at 3 p.m. For Webinar Wednesdays. It's titled Teaching IET and CTE Courses to ESOL and ABE Students. So please be sure to chime in for Webinar Wednesday tomorrow at 3 p.m. So, once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your feedback. I hope you guys enjoyed today's presentation, and please have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon.